But that more or less was the second or third time that I got crabs. So it gets easier on the body.
So Zach, I should probably tell you we're live now.
Got to work out a countdown system or something, but I'm getting intern on this.
I kind of like this a little bit more, to be honest.
I know you enjoy that.
I really do. Thank you guys so much for joining us here at the Criminally Mental Podcast. My name is Cody, or Zach's prettier best friend.
God, I hate you so much. My name is Zachary, allegedly Galloway, and here to introduce our show is the host of the VT Network, Dead Man.
Welcome to the Criminally Mental Podcast, where we talk about mental health and the criminal justice system, with your two hosts, Cody Green and Zach Galloway, currently both on parole and compassionate release. Now, here's the show.
So, fun fact, every week, obviously, I make a comment about his voice and everything like that and how great it is. And that's actually our friend, Dead Man. He's a great guy. I've been on his show. But I have received several DMs recently from people thinking that we were dating, actually.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is it just because you're so intense about his voice? People are like, oh, they got to be a thing.
I mean, it could be. But at first I was like, that's weird because, he's definitely not my type. But then I thought about it. Yeah, I can see that.
Just for the voice? Or you like
Just the voice.
Just the voice? Okay.
I mean, if he ever got like laryngitis, it'd be over so quick. So fast. But up until that point, it'd be a happy relationship for sure.
All right. Well, that's good to know. I'm sure everyone is so glad they know that now.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. The more you know.
You know what we haven't talked about in a while?
Apartheid.
Our balls.
I was about to say, we talked about apartheid last week. Yes, we haven't talked about our balls very often. And as you guys know, our sponsor, Manscaped, up over there in the corner, provided us with a lot of gear to try out. And we tried it out and kind of fell in love with the product, to be totally honest with you. And we don't want to sound like salesmen, even though that's basically what we're doing right now. But they do have an amazing product. If you guys want to go there and use the code,
say it.
Gallowop. God, I hate you so much more every week. It's amazing. Anyway, if you want to use the promo code Gallowop, you actually get a discount on your order. It really helps support us at the show. It really helps keep this going. And plus, you get an awesome product. There's some amazing things in there. Cody, what's your favorite products in that bag?
The ball toner is really good. Like, don't get me wrong. I love the actual 3.0 lawnmower, the razor itself.
Right.
But that ball toner is so nice because, let's be honest, it can get a little musty down there. It's nice to be able to spritz it up throughout the day.
Do you know what the ball toner is amazing for? Anybody who works out. If you are someone who works out and you happen to have testicles, you need the ball toner in your life. Because you know that even when it's not, like right after workout, you're a sweaty person. That's part of your life. That's real. That's just what it is.
I look at it as the same way where you're like, in high school and middle school where guys are oblivious and don't just put on some cologne or something after they work out. Like it's the same thing. Like it's super easy. It's a good product. And I personally love it. But someone just asked, oh my, what did I join? I'll tell you what you joined. You joined Amazing Conversation about mine and Zach's balls.
Well, the cool thing about it, and wow, I never thought I'd hear you use the phrase "mine and Zach's balls" in the same sentence. But anyway, moving on from that point, something that I think is cool, and like we did take our time picking who we wanted our sponsor to be, is that we want to kind of normalize men taking care of themselves and that being an okay thing to do. That's one of the great things about this. It's part of what we believe doing here. Normalizing things, talking about things, men taking care of themselves, and self-care needs to be something that we're okay with here. So
yeah. And not only that, but it's just the ability to talk about a product that we truly do use and enjoy. Because we waited. I don't think people understand that we had several offers, a lot of really crazy sponsorship offers, and we did hold out for something that we really liked. And I mean, when I tell you we had a decent amount, like us individually, I know we get a lot of offers, but as soon as our podcast started, people wanted to be a part of it. And we waited until we found something that, we could try out and both actually enjoy. And so, like this person said here, love yourself and your balls. Your balls will thank you.
Laura, I like that slogan. Laura, love yourself and your balls. I mean, our slogan officially is what? Your balls will thank you.
Yeah.
But I don't know why, but that puts a terrifying image in my mind. Because in any universe where my balls could talk, I don't want to live there. That's real. That wouldn't be wise.
You took that to a weird place, and that's coming from the schizophrenic guy. So
I'm just saying it's a valid point.
I would be freaked out too. That sounds terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. And another thing we could talk about, since we're on the topic of shaving, Zach, what happened to your face?
All right, so my fiance and I'd thrown the idea around, like I haven't shaved in a while. I wonder what that's going to do. So essentially, he had me shave my beard off into different stages, and I got to say, some of them I actually really liked, like the I don't know what you call that. It's like the Civil War sort of mustache where you have nothing right here.
Oh yeah. I don't know. Is there a name for that one? I feel like there is.
There has to be a name for that. But I rocked the shit out of that one at first, so much that I wanted to stop and keep that, but he wanted me to keep going. And then I did like I mean, obviously it's the Hitler mustache, but on the live we had to call it the Charlie Chaplin mustache.
Yeah.
But it was just fun. But fortunately for me, unlike you, I've gone through puberty, and mine will grow back pretty quick.
Wow. It's growing back. I mean, the sides are still a little rough. But you got to admit, I can grow pretty decent goatee.
You can for a 12-year-old.
Wow.
But, outside, no, you do grow a pretty good goatee.
Calling me a 12-year-old when you're the same height as a lot of 12-year-olds. Come on, man.
No, someone's been reading my comments.
I did chuckle a little bit when I saw that one. And then you told the story about how someone in public.
Oh my. Okay, So I get recognized in public from time to time, and this time I was at the Food Lion down the street from our house, and the girl in front of me in line kept turning behind, looking behind, looking at me, and then turn back and looking at me, and then kind of turn back. So the next time she did it, I figured I'd stop being awkward, so I waved. I was like, "Hi," and she did the pull your mask down motion, like I need to see your face sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I did. And she goes, "Oh, I thought you were this internet guy." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah? Who's that?" And she's like, "Oh, it doesn't matter. He's really short."
At least she didn't say, "Oh, I thought you were Zacharias Phoebe Galloway."
I would have actually preferred that, to be in all fairness. But like now when I meet people and if they've ever seen any of our content together, they assume I'm like 5'3".
That makes me so happy deep inside. What's funny is like when you actually do come out to visit and we make content together, people will notice that you're short, but 5'8's not that short, It's
you also tell people I'm 68 years old, so I mean. There's that,
and people believe that too. It's insane. There are legitimately people out there that because of my roasts believe Zach is a 5'3", 80-year-old man named Zacharias Phoebe Galloway. And when I tell you that nothing in the world has made me happier, it's just such an accomplished feeling. By the way, on the topic of roasts, I feel like it's kind of your turn. I put a couple out there.
Oh, you know what? I started to work on mine earlier today, and then I realized that I'd rather do anything else but think about you. But you're right, though. I do need to roast you again. Let's do that tomorrow. That needs to happen tomorrow.
I mean, you could just admit to the people that the last couple roasts were so brutal that you're afraid to fire back.
I will certainly admit that you have gotten considerably better with your roasts. I will never admit that I'm afraid of your pathetic roasts. I mean, you still call me up after you post these. You're like, "Bro, I'm so sorry if this crossed the line." And like I'm over here with my fiance. I'd be like, "Bro, you're so gay right now. Why are you so gay?" Why are you so gay?
I just want to make sure, it's the hippie inside of me. I want to make sure because because like I've done some jokes that I'm like, okay, just in case the cancel people come for me, I want to make sure that Zach's okay with it, so I could be like, hey, Zach's cool with it. You can't be too mad at me, you know?
Let's be absolutely clear about this. If cancel culture comes from you or comes at you about something you told me, I'm definitely going to deny that you ever came to me with that shit right away. I'll be like, I don't know where this came from. I mean, like, he said the N-word a couple times in private, but I thought he was part of a joke. I never knew he was like this. I mean, whew.
Wow.
I'm starting to think that it's not a ghost costume that he has in his closet. That's all I'm saying.
Not a ghost costume. That's pretty good. Well, it's glad to know that you would immediately sell me out and throw me under the bus.
I probably wouldn't even wait for them to ask.
Yeah, you're just do it anyways. That's what your roast is going to be. Just like blatant lies trying to diminish my character.
No, I'll always sprinkle in a little bit of the truth, and then it's your choice, America. Which you decide is true or not. But
well, that's I will say that like I've been seeing some bigger creators get a lot of hate for some of the stuff they do online. The cool thing about our platform is we've put the worst parts of our past out in the open. So like honestly, even like when we did that BS about Eric B. Zink and he tried to come after you for one of your charges and used your mugshots. It's like, bro, that shit was out there. Like, it's known. That
is old news. I mean, but that's really one of the benefit about, I mean, when we started this show, we kind of agreed on some basic terms. And one of them was that we were just going to always be open and real with people from the get-go. And I think something that's made it really easy for us that a lot of people with shows have had the issue with is like they have to keep shit straight, I guess, in a way. They have to, like stick to their shtick or whatever it is. And we don't have to worry about that. We can be jackasses and make that our thing.
Well, it's really nice also for authenticity. I know that a lot of people come back and watch the show every week because they know we're not going to sugarcoat anything. If we bring a cop on, we're not gonna get all like, no offense, we're not gonna get all worshipy and praise them for their job. We're gonna ask real questions, but we do the same with people on our side of the track too. So we do the same with other felons and people with drug addiction. And we give everyone shit across the board. We ask everyone difficult questions and we don't take anything out.
Yeah. And that's a big thing. We don't edit any of the show. And I think something that we're kind of running into a problem with getting a cop on the show is that they may have the impression that it's going to be like an ambush.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because everyone I've reached out to has either passed me off to an agent, which is just kind of like a bullshit way of not answering the question in the first place, or just flat out said they're not interested in doing it at this time. And like, we don't want to ambush anybody. If we have a cop on the show, we want to talk to them as another human being, give them that amount of respect that they get as a human being, and really level with them. We've both had experiences, both positive and negative, obviously probably more negative. Yep. And it would be great if we could create a space where we could honestly talk about those things. I mean, are we going to bootlick you because you wore a badge? No. Are we going to respect you because you're a human being and you're on our show? Absolutely. Yep. We're felons. We're all about respect. So that's the reality of where we're at with getting a cop on the show. But I do want that to happen very badly.
Yeah. And if you guys know anyone, it could be a TikToker, a YouTuber, anyone who's a police officer that would be interested in being on here, let us know because it is something we want to do. Yes, we're going to joke around with them a little bit, but it will not be an ambush. We are not going to put someone on the spot and make them feel bad about what they do for a living. We might ask some tough questions, but every single guest we have on, we always start by asking, is there anything you do not want to talk about? Is there anything that you want to keep to yourself or you just don't want to be pressed on? And it'll be the same thing with a cop. Yeah. Only exception to that rule would be is if we could get Eric B. Zink to come on.
Oh God, I want that to happen so badly. I want that so badly.
I just have a hard time feeling he would ever agree to it, especially since me and you, he's blocked both of us on every platform.
Blocked us everywhere. Continues to talk massive amounts of shit. But oh man, if we could get him on the show, but realistically, I don't know how impartial I could be in that interview.
Yeah, me.
You know, I mean, really.
We do have a comment right here that says not one cares. So this is the TikToker I mentioned to you, Zach. I've already extended an offer for him to be on the show. He is a retired bail bondsman. So he's the guy who used to go get people for warrants. I specifically found his account because he did a story time about arresting a schizophrenic person, and the schizophrenic person, they didn't handcuff him or anything, and he got in a fist fight with one of his hallucinations. And I thought that was a really cool story of him to tell. And I think for now, that might be the closest thing to a cop we're going to get on the show.
I think I know who you're talking. I think that's Jim. He's actually a friend of mine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if I remember correctly. Yeah. But either way, I'd love to talk to a bail bond reinforcement agent.
Well, because they work with police officers pretty closely, don't they?
It depends on the area. The interactions that I had with bounty hunters or things like that were like, they were basically just thugs that kind of had some authority. But that was the areas that I lived in. I know it's very different in different states and across the states and stuff like that. I would imagine it is a terrifying job, just because most people aren't going to take a shot off at a cop if they're going to if they're getting arrested, because it's a fucking cop. But I think a lot more people would be willing to hurt a bondsman enforcement agent than a cop. So I would imagine it's a pretty rough job.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I think they're kind of put in a lot of really bad situations. If you're going hunting someone down, you're kind of going out to their space, you know?
Yeah, you don't get to choose your ground very easily. It's one of those jobs, man, where like people have told me about in the past, you know, and all I can think of is like, wow, why the fuck would you ever want to do that?
Yeah. I kind of thought that too. I know a guy who does that job, but in Detroit, and I was like, "Ooh,
no.
I was like, I don't think you could pay me enough to do that job in Detroit. I would do it around here, in Wisconsin. Mostly, you're dealing with drunk people who forgot to show up to court. I'm sure.
Oh my god, that would make an amazing show. Fucking Wisconsin bounty hunter, just like one guy in a tractor slowly going around town and like politely knocking on doors and being like, hey, you got to come to jail.
Yeah. You're going to have to come in, bud. Like, sorry about that.
Yeah.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, pal.
Hey there, bud. I know it's early on a Sunday and all.
I know the Packer game's on at noon, but I got to bring you in. I apologize.
So sorry. So sorry.
Or as you politely refer to it, Diet Canada.
It is Diet Canada. I was talking about this with my neighbor today. If you don't live in Wisconsin or any of the states surrounding Wisconsin, you probably can't pick it out on a map. And that's just the reality of America.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I feel like that's an accurate statement.
I mean, I feel like there's some states that are true with that about me. But it's like mostly states out east I have trouble with. Like, I like now that I've been to Pennsylvania, I can point that out. But if you're like, hey, where's North Carolina?
Yeah.
I don't fucking know where North Carolina. The American education system is just so good.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay out of this one. I don't think people understand how much of a functional idiot I am. And that's just the absolute truth of the matter. My life is basically based around the fact that I've been somehow able to surround myself with functional, intelligent people that don't mind going out of their way to remind me to do basic fucking things. So
if it makes you feel any better, I think people are more aware of how much of an idiot you are than you think.
I feel better about that. I do.
Okay, actually. Good. I just don't want you living thinking that people aren't aware at all. I think they have a general idea.
I'm glad you're looking out for me, Cody.
Yeah, anytime, man. Anytime.
So what's up? Are we supposed to have a guest coming on soon? Or
we do have Auntie Steezy coming on. He's just currently trying to get to a computer, so he is running a little behind.
Tony, or as most of you guys know him as Auntie Steezy, is coming on today to talk about his memoirs he's releasing. It's Cheesy to be Steezy, a life of sex, crime, and drag in Hollywood. So we're definitely looking forward to it. Love to talk to him about that.
I actually love that's kind of hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know what he says. Can you remember that? So when he gets on, you can start by introducing him that way. Because
you should type that down because I don't even remember it fully now. Hold on.
You're so good at improvising that you forget what you said 2 minutes ago. And that's why I love doing this show with you. It's just so good impromptu.
There are times that I like rewatch the show, and I know it shouldn't be like watching it for the first time. Like I'm aware of that, but there are times where I'll watch it and be like, "Huh, I shouldn't have said that."
Which times are we specifically referring to? Because there's a couple times where we're like mid-show, and I'm like, is this the best conversation to be having? Once again, though, I think that leads to our authenticity on the show.
Well, a big thing that factors into this is neither one of us are trained or talented in this in any way, shape, or form. So authenticity is basically what we have to bring to the table.
Yeah. I don't know about you, Zach, but I've always considered myself a bit of a professional.
Jesus Christ. If we let that hashtag die, that would be amazing.
No, it's got to continue. It was something I mispronounced on the very first podcast, wasn't it?
I'm pretty sure you said Twainweck. I think that's what you mispronounced.
That was rough. That first episode, I went back and listened to it last week. I don't know if you know this. We're like 13 episodes into this now. And I went back and listened to our first episode. And although we're definitely still not professionals, it's gotten so much better. Because I think we've gotten better at reading each other, figuring out like the cues over camera. And then also our guests we really are able to prepare more with them before the show.
Well, I think it's like with anything, especially when you're doing like a show, especially one like this where we're bringing new people in every week and talking to them. You know, the growing pains of getting it off the ground are a bit rough. You know, because you don't know how that first one's gonna go. We thought it was gonna go so much worse than it did, didn't we? Like we were talking about that before the first episode. We're like, this is going to be fucking horrible.
The best part was that's how we advertised it to people. Yeah. All of the TikToks we made, everything on Instagram, we were like, oh, it's going to be bad. So I feel like we gave ourselves a little bit of wiggle room for that first episode, which is, I think it made it a little bit better than it actually was.
It kind of made it more like the audience is experiencing this Twainweck with us, more than just watching it, I feel.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Do you want to do your intro again, Zach?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So please welcome to the show, Tony, or as most of you guys know him, Auntie Steezy. He's here to talk about his new book, his memoirs. It's Cheesy to be Steezy, a tale of drugs, sex, and drag in Hollywood. Thank you. Welcome to the show, Tony.
What's up, man?
What's up, guys? Yeah, no, the new book will be coming out April 20th. It's got a whole lot of cool cameos in it. It's got a lot of stuff with, the old Ozzy, something about fire ants. It'll be a really good time, yeah.
I do want production credits if you ever do that memoir.
I'll take a note of it right now.
Okay, good.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us, man. I really appreciate it.
I'm so sorry it took me so long. I had a million things going on and just completely spaced, and I get back here and the fucking Wi-Fi doesn't work. So I'm on a laptop right now on a hotspot.
Oh, you're all good, man. No worries.
Yeah.
We appreciate you being here at all because I know when we started the show, you seemed really pumped to come on and hang out with us.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then you watch the show, and now it's not so much. But yeah.
Well, it is a little difficult to considering, but
for sure. So, I mean, how have you been, man? What's going on? I've been keeping up with your halfway content, dude. I've been loving that stuff. I just checked out Liquid Death for the first time, which I was like, what is this? I thought it was an energy drink or something. It's not, by the way.
I'm curious. What is this? What is Liquid Death?
Liquid Death Mountain.
Where can I buy it?
The best shit on the planet. You could buy it at a number of name brand retailers throughout the United States, but specifically on the western side of the U.S. Just about every 7-Eleven, they carry them at Whole Foods, or you can get them at their website at liquiddeath.com. And feel free to join the country club where you contractually, legally binding, and eternally can sell them your soul for a free case of water. And that's no bullshit. They have lawyers dedicated to people getting out of it.
A whole case.
I don't know the last part. I'm just assuming that. But like the contract is pretty good.
Well, that was a thing that happened. So what is all this? Want someone to clue me in?
It's just it's canned water. It's really, really cool canned water. And they have a very massive like foot in the anti-plastic movement, because at the end of it, I mean, they have these little carbon waste plushies. I can't remember what they're called off the top of my head, but it's like sea turtles and shit with Coke straws through their noses, and they got like the plastic, but they're plushies. They're sick, and it's just like to show
it's cute. It's cute. It's gruesome and horrible, but it's cute. It's cute.
Let me turn a light on in here really quick so this looks a little bit better.
Yeah, you look like you're doing like a save me video from somewhere deep in Pakistan.
Yeah,
like
no,
hold up a newspaper and just,
somewhere with Tony Stark. I'm helping him invent the Mark I.
Right.
Oh, makes sense. I just assumed Zach was keeping you in the basement, and that's why it was dark down there.
I got out of there weeks ago. Hey, wait, Zach, how are Jeff and Todd, by the way?
Dinner.
To be expected. They were huskier guys.
All right.
Like Asian food.
Oh my gosh.
I should have asked this ahead of time. Do you guys allow vaping or smoking of any kind on the show?
Yeah, for
we
sure.
actually demand it. Usually.
The cool part is with our show is that we, all of the platforms we stream on, know that we are 18 plus explicit content.
Cool.
So we can pretty much do or say whatever the fuck we want.
Very.
I wouldn't have it any other way. I really wouldn't.
Of course.
Which brings me to my next point. Kids at home, remember at 45 minutes past the hour, it's the Criminally Mental Podcast cocaine bump time. So,
okay, well, maybe not that far.
Oh, I'm only mildly prepared, but I can run down the street. It's not a problem. I moved into this neighborhood for a reason.
We're gonna get the worst email from.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Zach, don't forget that I am part of the recovery community. They will come for my throat on this shit.
I mean, we can get into that aspect of it completely. I would like to mention now that was a joke. Your boy's clean. I don't know. I don't even know my exact date because I don't remember when it happened. It was just like a week where everything went blank, and I was like, you know what, I'm done. So I don't know the date, but I know roughly I'm at like 14 months.
That's good. So like, I'm not really too familiar with your content because most of my For You page is just hot cosplay girls.
Sure.
You know,
absolutely respectable For You page, if I must say.
Yeah, no, it's, I expect most people should be that way. So have you struggled with addiction and that sort of thing in the past? I went through some of your videos. I didn't really see you talking about it too much.
It's not something that I've really talked about online, not for lack of comfort, but just there's never been a setting where I've talked about it. But yeah, I've had my fair share of instances. I was on the other end of the podium, and
we call that heroin on the show, I think, right? Is that what we call it? We call it heroin. Is that what we're doing?
No, so I mean, like I was selling drugs.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant the other end.
I think it's Biggie's rule number 6 of the 10 Crack Commandments. I fucked up, and I had like a $400, $500 a day habit. That shit was taking my life over.
Jesus.
Yeah, and then I remember one day I was super fucked up, and I sat down and looked at not my bank statements, my Cash App transaction history. I did the numbers, and it totaled up to a brand new off-the-lot Honda Civic and like a house in Georgia. And I went, oh, wow, hold on, I'm not making this much money. How am I spending more than I'm making in return? Oh, yeah, I look in my closet at the Good Kid, Mad City record sitting, and I'm like, there it is. That's the problem.
Yeah.
We good now, though.
Well, and despite that stuff, as far as I know, you don't have a criminal record, do you? Because we bring a lot of people on with criminal records. But I've heard you tell some story times where it sounds like you've been close to getting yourself a criminal record.
So everything from juvie is sealed, but I fucked up a lot as a kid and have magically managed the 2 times I've been in like a Zach, anesthesia is the shit. You need to check him out. Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate that. The 2 times I've wound up in court since being an adult, I've actually only managed to be there twice. I got out both times. The judge and it was the same guy, coincidentally, and both times he took every single charge and waived them, and I was done that day.
I think it's almost like
really lucky. And one of those was I don't know if I can get into like that much detail, but the second trial was like 5 to 10 minimum. And he just dropped it. I literally walked out and fucking took my shirt off in the parking lot of West Justice Center in Southern California and just fucking breathed and then hit the floor.
Jeez.
I was shaking. Shit sucked.
Well, the crazy and the good thing is that you were smart enough to take that as, your sign that this is something you shouldn't be doing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not all of us are that wise. That happened to me at one point in time, and my immediate thought was like, I can do so much other shit now.
Oh, I can get away with everything.
Yeah, I can get away with everything. Like, that was my reaction to that. So good on you for having the right reaction.
Yeah, I got really, really lucky. I mean, like, realistically, that if the one and I can tell a piece of the story. It played out really weird. The second time that I'm referring to that I've been to court as an adult, I was off-roading. I have a big built truck. It's on my Instagram. If anybody at home wants to see it. It's a 2013 Tacoma. I got 7-inch in the front. I got Max Track spindles and Camberg uppers and a full King kit for anybody that actually cares about that stuff. But I was a mile and a half deep into an off-road trail. So I'm in the woods. And a California Highway Patrol at 50 miles an hour banging through the fucking trail and decided he really wanted to speak to me. So he hit the brakes and drifted up in front of me. And by the time I even realized it was a cop and not some drunk jackass in an old Wrangler, he was already tapping on my window. Ooh. My homegirls so we parked 2 other cars at the beginning of the trailhead, and they were in my trunk. So they tried to stick me with so many different reckless endangerment type charges. At the end of it, I think there were like 7 different things on the ticket, and I was going to court for like 14 things. It was actually
that's something a lot of people don't really understand is you very rarely get booked with one charge these days.
Oh no! I had like fucking half the possible California like records base just being thrown at me.
Yeah, and that's something that it's obviously a tactic that's used to make you panic in the situation, to make you talk, to make you want to sign whatever to get out of whatever. It's just that's reality that we live with. So.
It's also a way that the cops can make sure that at least something sticks. Yeah. I know in my case, they slapped me with enough stuff that I was looking at 14 years in prison, ended up with less than a year. So it's all about trying to, like Zach said, make you scared, but also they want something to stick. The cops, and we were just talking, Tony, about trying to get a cop on this show. We've been having trouble because for some reason, cops, I don't know if they feel like they're going to get cornered by 2 felons who have been to jail, but we've been having a tough time trying to convince a cop to come on the show. And I think part of the reason is they know that we're going to probably call out some shit we've seen as felons and as people who have been to jail.
Colin has a buddy. I don't know who the hell the guy is, but I know they go back and forth a lot, and they have like a mutual respect. Who's a cop on TikTok, and I know you talk to Colin quite a bit. Reach out to him.
Well, we talk to Colin when we need to. We have a policy about nerds on this show, Tony. We don't usually associate with nerds.
It makes sense.
There's another option.
Okay. Well, if I can think of anyone else off the top of my head that's like definitely not a nerd.
Yeah. Zach doesn't like talking about Colin because Colin was super big when Zach was growing, and I think too many people
tagged Colin Ray.
Yeah, too many people compared Zach to Colin, and so he has a bit of a hard time talking about Colin Ray. But for those of you who don't know, episode 3 of the Criminally Mental podcast we did with Colin Ray. If you want to hear Colin flip out on someone on his live stream
in the middle of our show.
I love Colin, but he just someone called him out, I guess, because he was drinking, and he kind of identifies like me as a sober person. But he talked about drinking. I guess someone called him something on his live, and he went
in
on.
the middle of doing our show with us. So
how do I put it? Colin's a firecracker.
Yeah.
He's being Colin to this, like, he's like, fuck you, dog, pull up to this fucking 12-year-old or whoever he's talking to. But
he probably said his home address too, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if he did that day, but I wouldn't doubt it, actually.
He's done
it so many times, I know it by heart.
Oh, really? That many times? I heard him say
he drops his address on a regular basis. He's like, come fight me now. It's awesome. It's not awesome, but it's awesome.
I would love to get all the TikToks, all the felon TikToks together and like do a boxing for charity match, because I would love to see.
That's how Colin and I became friends.
Yeah, I've seen some of that. But
I was trying to host it. I pitched the idea to a bunch of people, and then I posted about it, and Colin commented, and I replied to his comment, not knowing him at all. I don't think I can morally or legally include you in this event, but you seem really cool. What's up?
Well, and Zach, he used to like boxing for commissary was his gig in prison.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. So Zach, I think, would do pretty well at this, even for being like 5'2". He would do a pretty good. He's 80 years old, but he's.
We got a short king in the building. I didn't know.
I give him a lot of shit for his height and age. He's 5'8", still pretty short though for someone who's 6'1".
6'1".
Yeah. But I like to give Zach a lot of shit. But for real, he used to do commissary boxing. From what I've heard, he was pretty good. So
I also used to box and do Krav Maga, so I mean that's kind of a thing. But yeah, I'd be so.
Krav Maga is fucking heavy. I did jiu-jitsu for 6 or 7 years, and I dabbled in Muay Thai for a little bit because I had Muay Thai classes at my.
Oh, dude, we should definitely meet up and roll together. That'd be fun.
Hey, if you want to roll, I'm always down. Anyone that I've ever met from TikTok with like a wrestling background immediately was like, "Oh, let's roll," and then I put you in a Kimura, and you're like, "Oh, what the fuck, yeah, motherfucker! I'm not trying to pin you. I'm trying to break your elbow."
Yeah, it's two different schools of thought. One's trying to win a sport, the other one's trying to end an existence. So,
yes. Well, if you're into that kind of thing, look up Sage Bender on TikTok. He's just like a stereotypical fuckboy, very pretty man, but he's a 2-time world champion.
I know him. So
I love Sage. Sage flew out here a little bit ago.
I've never met him, but I'm aware of his content. So
I love Sage.
I would love. There's a couple people that I think would be so cool for like getting TikTokers together. Like not even necessarily for fighting, but that's where my mind goes because I do boxing.
Because TikTokers fight each other just sounds hilarious.
I feel like it would probably de-evolve into that anyway.
Yeah,
that's not what we did. So,
but there's some people like I love a challenge, and there's some people that I'm like positive I would lose against, but I would just love to box against. So like Colin, I would love to box against Colin. We're pretty similar height and weight wise. Like he's got a little bit height on me, but I would love to box against him. I don't think I'd stand a chance, but I would love to do it. And then the other one, I think I would get obliterated by, but I would love to do it. Justin Demented from TikTok.
Is that homeboy that looks like the dude from Shameless?
Yeah, that's the guy who does like, he always is doing the prison bakes, even though he hasn't been in prison. I'm like, bro, you can get access to such good food now.
Wait, I'm sorry, he hasn't been to prison?
No, he hasn't been to prison in a long time. He's been
out for years and years and years. Yeah. He's still making like prison food, and it's like, homie.
Yeah. But it'll make like
stinger is good for the soul.
It is, but like, bro, so it's funny I'm saying that because I got these chips right here, the whole shebang chips, which are like exclusive to jails and prisons.
Commissary food.
I'm always giving him shit because I'm like, bro, you're out now. You realize that, right? You don't have to put hot Cheetos on everything to give it flavor. Like,
Tony, if you could fight a TikToker, who would it be? That's a good question.
How many people are watching right now?
On here we got 63, but just so you know, we put this on our podcast and we get anywhere from 3,000 to 12,000 views on our podcast every week.
Okay, then we're gonna keep this as a friendly fight. Someone I would just like to get in the ring with and roll with. Because I have plenty of people that I would properly just like to catch outside Saddle Ranch and hit them with a fucking bottle. But that needs to be announced at some point. There's gotta be the whole thing.
it's premeditated. If you
easy off rip. Doesn't matter. You can name the when, the where. I'll do it with an arm tied behind my back. Tony Lopez. I want to beat the shit out of him.
Oh,
That's a good one.
I think you'll have to fight Colin for that fight, though.
There's so many people that are ahead of Colin.
I don't know if you've been keeping up with our content. We did a whole expose on Eric B. Zink. I would love to fight Eric B. Zink.
God damn it, that's what I was going to pick.
He's another predator right now on TikTok. He's not getting enough hate because he calls himself a mental health
advocate. I saw both of your videos about this motherfucker. I didn't look into it too much, though. Give me the rundown.
So he basically he was using his platform as a mental health platform, and he put his phone number online so anyone could text him. Well, what started happening was young underage.
Flag number one.
Yeah, strike number one. I'm a mental health advocate. You will not find my phone number anywhere online. You know why? Because that's super inappropriate.
Yeah.
But strike number two was they started showing some of the messages. People were like catching him with, what was the one that he said, Zach? He was talking to a 15-year-old girl.
He was talking to a 15-year-old girl who had come to him for help through one of his lives or something. And he asked her directly when the last time she showered was, asked her if her butt smelled, asked her if her butt smells more when she farts, which I feel like is just a basic mechanics question anyway. But, a lot of very inappropriate, odd things. Additionally, when we did that expose thing on him, like, man, we had people coming out of the woodworks contacting us, like saying that they were victims of his and like shit like that. It was crazy. I mean,
from a therapy point of view, I could understand the shower thing. There's an angle to make that make sense because when people get depressed, they stop taking care of themselves. But it doesn't sound like he was coming at it from that angle. It sounds like he just wants to know.
Zach left out like one of the most important comments in that. It was the very last thing that it shows in that comment section was, if your butt smells, no one's going to want to have sex with you. And
oh my God.
Yeah, and he's like 40. His wife divorced him after all this came out. So he's trying to be like, he tried to say that it was like, oh, you can make anything look like anything. And he said it was taken out of context. But I was like, bro, your wife left you. Like, there's more behind this than you want to admit.
Oh, you are absolutely both going to be on his kill list at some point or another. This man's going to snap and your names are going at the very
he already snapped.
I'd love for that fucker to show up at my house. Bet. You want to fight a schizophrenic felon, bro? I will black the fuck out. I will plead insanity, and I will happily eat applesauce in a psych ward for the rest of my life.
And the best part is you didn't even have to do it alone. You guys could all jump him.
Exactly.
All the hallucinations. All the hallucinations involved. If I had to choose a TikToker to fight, Trisha Paytas.
Oh, solid.
Trisha Paytas. Absolutely. Yeah. 1-2, knock that bitch out. Just done.
Solid,
it's done. It's over. I can think of about 150 reasons off the top of my head that would make that completely justified. Yeah.
But never mind. I could go on a tangent about that woman for an hour. She is heinous.
I know she's gone now, but I still really want to fight that vegan teacher. I'm just afraid she would like crumble into ash if you hit her once.
That would go one of two ways. One, she would crumble into ash when you touched her, or two, she'd turn out to be some like weird ancient Titan creature.
He is poison ivy. No, she is poison ivy.
Yeah, those the only two outcomes with
Venus flytraps are just gonna start coming out of the floor.
I could see that. I'm so glad she's off TikTok now. Like,
is that a real thing? Like permanently?
Yeah, they even banned her. They banned her IP address. She couldn't even make side accounts.
Damn.
She made like 8.
Yeah.
Which, technically speaking, is a problem in itself because there's a term in the TikTok rules you can't evade your ban. So making more accounts is like
what? I know that she was guilty of basic bullshittery, but like, what was it she did that got herself banned?
She
she made a comparison. She was super sexual to like I think Nick Davis.
Yeah, it was an underage kid, and she said something about, well, if you want to impress girls, just show them your banana. And then she pulled out some like banana and grapefruit, and it was an underage boy. And she's like, I wasn't sexualizing him. If you ever want to see
she called someone else a pedophile. She was like, you're the one that made it sexual. And she's holding an eggplant and two like cylindrical fruits. I don't think it was Nick Davis. I definitely don't. I thought that because
And the guy she called a pedophile, the one who has, if you ever want to like fact check all the terrible shit she's done, Ethan Trace is the guy who worked hard to get her banned and has all the like crazy, like she's compared like animals and farms to the Holocaust. She like personally attacked, she compares it to slavery a lot, but she personally attacked like a small dairy farmer out in Vermont and basically said his wife was like condoning the rape of other women because they have breeding cows there. And like, so she has said some terrible things. I'm honestly surprised it took her that long to get banned. She's like, some of the stuff she said, she's compared it to like the LGBT coming out as a vegan to coming out as like gay or bi or something.
Heard that one. No, she just went so far with the analogies. She dug her hole a long time ago. It's just taken so long to shovel the dirt back in.
Yeah.
The weird thing is, as annoying as I truly find her to be, and I truly wish just the worst things for her in this world, there is a part of me that kind of respects the hustle. Like she cut a fucking edge out of this world by pissing people off who ate meat. And that was her shtick. And she ran
more hate comments than Tony Lopez. But she was pushing through. Now, granted, well, I guess she did end up hypersexualizing a child. So.
Yeah, that's that. I think that's where across the board, everyone's kind of like, we're done with you at this point.
No doubt.
Well,
and I've noticed with TikTok specifically, they're always 15. It's
always 15.
It's always that number. It's so fucking them.
Yeah, and like we've talked about on this show before, because me and Zach, obviously, as two felons, we're not perfect people. But as people who have been incarcerated, we know where the line is drawn, and that's taking advantage of people who can't defend themselves, including children.
Children, disabled folk.
Yep. No matter what you are in jail for, I've respected attempted murderers more than there's a certain bond between people who have spent time incarcerated, and we all draw the line. No matter how shitty your crime is, no matter what you did, we all draw the line at taking advantage of people who can't defend themselves.
But in Cali, you also get fucked up for domestic violence, like without circumstances. They won't even ask. They'll just get you.
And I think that's another case of, taking advantage of. I'm not saying women can't ever defend themselves, but if you're a fucking 50-pound man and you're beating on a 100-pound woman, I think that's where part of that comes from. Because that's another. I know people with domestic violence, even in Wisconsin, get that's probably just another you're doing something that you're not going to get backlash. That she's not going to be able to fight you back. That's
just the idea of kicking the shit out of somebody that can't do anything back is pussy.
Yeah. I think it just comes down to cowardice, really. At the end of the day. I mean, I can remember sitting around talking with guys on my block. How'd you get in here? Blah blah blah. No matter how bad whatever they did was, at the end of the day, it did incur a little bit of respect from me. Like, oh, it takes some balls to try that. You failed, but it takes some balls to do that. Or you were doing that? All right, I give you respect for at least doing that, being about your shit.
I feel like you should probably clarify we're no longer on the topic of domestic violence.
No, we actually are. Okay. And then when it comes down to people who were locked up for domestic violence, what do you do with that?
Yeah.
If you were someone who, attacked somebody who was defenseless, a child, or did anything like that, there's no honor in that. There was no ends means in that. You weren't trying to make money with that. You weren't even trying to do a hustle. You're just a piece of shit for free. There's not a lot to respect there. So
Louis, it's always such a weird way to put this. My philosophy, as occasionally toxic as it may be, is I physically could not see, or even God forbid, ever even think of putting my hands on a woman. And when I see somebody doing it, I break in, like, even if she's in the wrong. But Louis C.K. a while ago was like, don't say there's no reason to hit a woman. There's a million reasons. You just don't fucking do it.
Yeah. What was his example?
Like, she could fucking cheat on you, run your accounts dry, and hit you over the head with a vase or some shit. There's a reason you just don't do it.
I thought Louis C.K. was the one who said, like, what if you walk in, she has already drowned 2 of your kids and she's about to drown the 3rd one, then can you hit her? I think that was the example he gave her. Maybe that was.
I don't remember that. What the fuck?
That might have been another comedian then.
I would like to take a moment to just remind all of our listeners here at the Criminally Mental Podcast that we do not condone domestic violence in any way, shape, or form. And
yeah, definitely not. I think we've made that clear.
That's a good thing. Just have an ad roll every 15 minutes.
Yeah, just every 15 minutes, this public service announcement, you know.
And that's common sense, but a lot of folks on the internet don't have that. We all know that.
Well, I mean, as bigger creators, we all know that. Like, we've seen comments that really greatly point out the lack of education and understanding that basic understanding should have, you know? And it's like, what are like some of the most you get with your content, Tony? Because I know for us, it's, they're
frustrating shit, so to speak.
Yeah, just like any stupid shit. It can be about your character, the way you look. Like, I don't know, most common shit I get is about being a felon, addict, schizophrenic, like hate comments in general.
I don't really get anything, and it puts me in a weird position because everybody around me does.
Yeah.
I don't get shit. And, I mean, I'll get them occasionally, but I never even see them. Someone else has to point it out to me. I've developed a reputation that I just don't care. And if you're going to do something, it's either going to fall on deaf ears, or maybe I'll make you delete your own account. Like, I will find a way to put you in a position where you sit up at night thinking about the comments that were just made back to you, and you just delete social media for a while.
Yeah.
You think your thoughts. But it's really rare. The wig joke is so fucking annoying.
Oh my God.
Colin started it, and it was funny for a few weeks. I was like, this is frustrating at first, and then I found the humor in it, and I was like, this is cool. It's been so fucking long. I'm convinced some of these people don't realize it's a joke.
Yeah.
Wait, do you actually not wear a wig? Is that not a thing?
I swear to God, I'm gonna find
out.
No,
real question, because like that was a big thing. They were doing like a huge thing about you.
You thought it was serious?
Yeah, it seemed like it.
Get to fuck with me. No, my hair is very, very real.
No, dog. You don't got to prove nothing to me, homie. I mean, look, you got a wig. You got a wig. You know,
no, I'm just fuck you.
No, I remember that. That was. I didn't know that was still going on for you, to be honest.
It's nowhere near as big, but it just got so annoying because I frankly just want to see other comments. If it was the wig comments in conjunction with anything else, then I really wouldn't give a shit. But it's been so long now, and it's always the top comment. It makes me not want to look at my comments because it's boring.
Yeah. So that's better than the reason I don't look at my comments, because if I look at my comments, I usually have Christians telling me I need to get an exorcism for my schizophrenia. So
I don't know what's wrong.
I forgot something. It happened for a short period of time and it stopped. I made fun of a pastor one time by accident. I stitched a pastor, not realizing he was a pastor. I thought that it was so happy and energetic. I was like, oh, this is a bit. Nah, he was dead serious.
Oh, God.
Down, I woke up to, I think the most comments I've ever, the least likes and least mentions, but the most comments, by ratio, I'd ever gotten. And it was just like, Jesus saves. I'm so sorry you've strayed so far from the light. And I was, oh, fuck.
My wife is an active practicing Christian. I'm if you couldn't tell, I'm definitely not. Sure. But I've every time I get comments like that, I'll stitch it. I'll send it to her. I'll be like, hey, come get your people. Because Christian TickTock, they will come for you, dude.
It's fucking savage, dog. They are savage as fuck. And okay, so I've managed to piss off literally every side of TikTok at one point or another. whether I've made fun of your people, your friends, or your family. Like at some point in time, someone like you has ended up in a skit of mine. That's just how things work. But whenever I make any even remotely religious comment, like I referred to the New Testament as biblical or Jesus Christ fan fiction, and I received I think it was like
you just made me remember another one. I got attacked by the God people twice. There was an audio that was like, "You read the Bible, now get ready for the Bible too. Jesus ain't crucifying fucking around." And I walk into forever ago. A long time ago, me and Chris Udala were the only people that could get away with Tony stole his beard. What the fuck? Me and Chris Udala were the only people that could get away with breaking specific TOS. You couldn't drink and you couldn't smoke. Didn't matter who you were. There was no aid guidelines on it. It just got taken down. And for some reason, me and Chris were fine. So I was trying to bend those rules as far as I could. And I walked into frame with a fucking liter of Smirnoff and a Glock.
Oh my gosh.
Jesus ain't Crusoe fucking around. And then I tripped. I wasn't actually fucked up, but I ate shit, posted it. And it stayed up for a little bit. And then I got banned until like 2080. I got banned from posting and I had to appeal it. Yeah, that was their way of perma-banning me.
Holy crap.
Yeah. I've been perma-banned twice.
Damn.
That's insane. The farthest I've gone is my lives get banned a lot when I'm having schizophrenic episodes because I hit myself and swear impulsively.
Yeah.
So my lives get banned a lot. They've never banned my account yet. But I thought I came close when we were doing the expose on, the predators on TikTok. For some reason, they really come after us about that.
They just don't like the subject matter being discussed, which is so fucking frustrating when you're trying to talk about it in a shedding light kind of way. Because at the end of the day, they don't want when that video gets shared and the TikTok logo plasters itself on there, they just don't want it associating. And it's such a pussy angle.
Yeah.
Well, what they need to realize though is especially with what we're doing with our little group, and we've done some stuff with it, but there's enough of us creators who are big enough creators on here that we should be able to address this issue because they're not going to listen to anything but money, realistically.
No, absolutely.
And that's who they make money off of.
I want to say unintentionally, but at the end of the day, we don't know. TikTok gods, please don't strike me with lightning. They're fostering a community that protects people that should not be protected.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and they could solve a lot of the conversation about it if they remove the people from the app who are known to be doing it. Yeah. Like, it would save them. That's the image thing they're worried about. Yeah. I wouldn't talk about it if I didn't know that people like Tony Lopez and Eric B. Zink still had fucking platforms.
That's such an easy place we could start too. Everyone
what they need is a little fucking anonymous tip box. They need the fucking thing that they have at HR where you can just write a note and stick it in there and be like, "Hey, I heard this about this person. Here's 48 fucking screenshots." And then they review it and I don't know, maybe have somebody with like morals take a look at it instead of a robot.
Yeah. So, off the topic of pedophiles on TikTok, we got some good comments in here for you, and we are coming to the end of our time here. I wanted to thank you for coming on. You got anything else you want to talk to the people about before we head out? We can go over a couple minutes.
The halfway house is probably the biggest thing. For those of you that don't know, I'm in a content group, which is more just like a sober living, but I promise you the name will be explained eventually. Called Halfway. We just actually got our house 2 days ago, and that big announcement came out today, and it is being suppressed so hard. It's got a 50-50 ratio, and the will not move. It's so fucking, I'm just staring at it, waiting for the number to go up. But come fuck with Halfway, where a content house is going to do things a little differently, and we talk about the shit no one else is willing to. Like, for example, we're fucking broke. And we're not trying to portray this image of everything being peachy. And we don't censor swearing, even though it'll get us more views. And that one statement right there represents the entire ideology around the whole bitch. Expect to see lots of things exploding and getting beat the fuck up. Inanimate objects getting beat up. Maybe people, but probably not.
Well, you guys heard it. If you guys want to tune into something about polyamory and the swinger lifestyle, go to the Halfway House.
Shut up.
Trevor Wagner will eat you.
Will eat you. Oh my god. No, I follow like everyone in your group, and it seems like a really, I get so sick of seeing the bullshit houses we got on TikTok now. All young kids just doing TikTok dances, and
the house nobody asked for was so promising, and I respect the way that they went about it absolutely. Yeah. But someone's got to pick up their slack. And I probably shouldn't say this, but like, if you're interested in keeping up with Halfway, remember that name I just said and watch our fucking videos like the next 2 weeks.
All right, bet. Well, I'm already tuned in. I love your guys' shit. And, if you ever need a schizophrenic to come hang out for a week or two.
Oh, I can think of a handful of skits.
I'd be down, man. And, if you need a 5'4", 80-year-old gay Jew, I'm sure Zach would love to come out.
With an intro like that, how could I say no?
Thank you guys so much for having me on.
Yeah. Any last words for the people today, Zach? I just want to thank you again for coming on, man. And we'd love to have you on again sometime.
Sure. Just hit me up whenever. Do drugs, drink alcohol, and execute Order 66. And by the way, do nothing I just said.
Valid. Always end on a strong note. Say goodnight, Cody.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Everyone have a great night. Don't forget to check out Manscaped. And just a reminder, because of Manscaped, Zach can finally shave his old man balls. Make sure you use code GALLOWOP for 20% off and free shipping. Peace out, everybody.
I'm 33, you cantankerous asshole.
Sure. Keep to that story, man. Everyone have a good night.